Welcome to Which is Best, presented by Code 3 Games. In today's episode, the PC race of the Kenku. Which is better, the Legacy version or the version in Monsters of the Multiverse? DM Aaron here with Sam and Manny. This episode, we are going to talk about the PC race of the Kenku. Manny, it's all yours.
So the Kenku, in the Monsters of the Multiverse, as they've done for a lot of the other PC character races, they cut the lore. So in Legacy, they got about 8 or 10 paragraphs of lore. In Monsters of the Multiverse, they have 2. And they only mentioned that Kenku curse once, kind of like if it was just lore, not lore, but like a legend amongst the Kenkus, as opposed to the Legacy version where it's real in their everyday lives. They're trying to find a way to get rid of the curse. So I think they took away a big part of the Kenku that people could play into their characters. So let's get into the actual changes here. So they specified that it's finally a humanoid. In Legacy, the size is medium. In Monsters of the Multiverse, you can choose to have a medium-sized or a small-sized Kenku, which is pretty cool. Speed is the same. Their skills are also the same. They just went through a name change and one buff. So Expert Duplication is the same as Expert Forgery, just advantage on checks to reproduce items. The Monsters of the Multiverse version has Kenku Recall, used to be called Kenku Training. Kenku Recall got a buff. So in the Legacy version, Kenku Training allowed you to get proficient in 2 skills, Acrobatics, Deception, Stealth, or Sleight of Hand. In Monsters of the Multiverse, Kenku Recall lets you choose 2 out of all of them. So I think that's really cool. And for their main ability, which is Mimicry, in the Legacy version, it was an opposed check with an inside check against your deception. In Monsters of the Multiverse, it got a big buff. Now it's basically a DC save. So it's an inside check of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and your charisma modifier. So I think the Mimicry ability will be more effective this way, where you could just roll your die and just lose on a check most of the time. They'll just have to beat your check now. So I think they really buffed its main ability since they can't talk. Another thing that they changed is that in Legacy they specify what languages they can read, which is common in Auron. In the Monsters of the Multiverse, they completely cut out the Auron, which is kind of weird. It's a bird race, so I think it would have made sense to leave it in there. But they give it common plus another language that the DM can agree on. So I guess they switch it out for something that would benefit the player if you want to not speak Auron or read Auron. But as far as that's pretty much what they changed. Just its main abilities and a couple changes to the names of the actual abilities themselves. I personally would go with the Monsters of the Multiverse version because of the buffs to the main abilities. But what do you guys think?
I would agree with your analysis there. I do like the fact that the Mimicry ability is now a little more reliable, where before it was almost completely based on the die roll as to whether or not you could mimic things accurately. So I think since that's the Kenku's main thing that it knows how to do, making it so that you've at least got your 8 in your proficiency bonus, and then you roll a 1, you're still going to be above a 10 likely. So I like that it's a little more accurate, and for role-playing purposes is pretty good. The recall, I like that you give yourself advantage in any check that you have proficiency in, number times your bonus.
Proficiency in 2 skills.
Yeah.
It's Expert Duplication, which is the advantage.
I've got it pulled up. It's the recall has the advantage.
Really? No, I have
Bad,
it written
Manny.
down.
I have it written down, I swear.
Kenku Recall is proficiency in 2 skills. Expert Duplication is advantage on the forgery.
What are you reading? Oh, yeah, advantage on ability checks, but read the second paragraph of Kenku Recall.
Oh dang! You can tell that.
He's like, I've been served.
Either way, you're
I like
right.
the
It was
confidence, though.
just depends on where it is in the stat block. So you were
Right.
still correct. It still exists.
You can tell all that.
But I do like that. So yes, I like that as well. Sam, anything to add?
No, I kind of like completely agree with what you guys said, especially the mimicry being more reliable, especially if you're playing a low charisma character. Loving that. Getting 2 skill proficiencies also from your race alone, like before you even choose a class and a background, is just killer. Like a lot of classes only get 1 anyway, and that's a maybe. So that's definitely a big plus, especially if you want to become more of like a skill monkey for your party.
Cool.
And yeah, I just really like it in general. It's more reliable. You get better over time. There's like a little bit more extras. It's kind of a landslide which one I'm gonna choose.
All right, well, let's vote. Monsters of the Multiverse or Legacy? 3, 2, 1. Monsters of the Multiverse it is.
All the way.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next episode.